Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. On this one, I won't give you a summary because the title of course says it all. This one's from user Apparent Throwaway 79. I found out I had a child when CPS contacted me because her mother was losing custody. Now what? Sorry for the crappy title. To make a long story short, I was a junkie and as a result did a lot of dumb, questionable things. I have been clean for 11 years now. About a week and a half ago, I was contacted by CPS, who asked if I knew Mary Smith, a woman with whom I had a relationship when I was on drugs. I said yes and was informed that she had a child, Emma, last name, who had been taken from the home and I was named as her father. With no other contactable family, she could come to me or otherwise go to foster care. It was relayed to me that I was listed as the child's father on her legal documents as well. To cut out some BS from the middle here, I'll just skip to the fact that I did accept emergency custody of the child, and I do actually pretty strongly believe that I'm probably her biological father for a number of reasons. But I feel like at this point, the caseworkers have been unhelpful and are basically like, for all intents and purposes, "You're her legal father, bye," and not answering my question. Emma apparently knew I existed and was told through her life that I was her father, but her mother said she had no way of contacting me, which I guess is technically true. My questions: 1. How was I listed on the birth certificate, legal records, school records, etc., and literally never informed ever at any point? How is this possible? 2. The caseworker said that because I'm on the birth certificate, and the undertone here was, unless you have an identical twin somewhere that is 100% your child, there's no need to take a DNA test. Is there any benefit to doing so? 3. This one I may have to consult with a lawyer on, but if I'm her father, am I then entitled to child support or the foster care stipend? That sounds terrible, but I don't make a lot of money and I'm stressed because there's times I feel like I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough for myself, even working full time, and I need to be able to provide for a kid now too. It's not about the money, but it's a little bit about the money. Well, OP's in a very tricky situation, but the one thing I would say is, yeah, you should do a DNA test to actually prove that that is your kid. For every other question, I don't know. So how about we move on to the community comments to see what kind of advice OP got. Dystopiani says, yes, get a DNA test. You're on the birth certificate because mom listed you as the father. Child support? Maybe. But if mom has no job or money, it's semi-pointless. Blood from a stone and all that. DNA test now. Ringo the effing dingo 1 says, see if you can apply for temporary assistance for needy families in your state. Maybe Medicaid for your daughter. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits. You aren't a foster care provider. You'd need to take all the classes. And even then, you're a parent. You can't do foster care. See if you can do Section 8 or CCAP assistance. There's a lot of programs out there. Will Not Junior says, in addition to all the other advice, if feeding yourself is already hard, you definitely should try and receive SNAP benefits from your state to help pay for food. Well, it seems like OP did get some solid advice, although not answering all of his questions. What advice would you give OP in this situation? Now, regarding the rest of this story, OP has given us 2 updates in legal advice, 1 post in Ask Parents, and 1 in Parenting, where they all add to the story. So let's continue with the first update and move on from there. It's been almost 3 months now, and I thought I'd come in real quick to give an update. Overall, the kid and I are doing great. I really expected the adjustment period to suck, but I feel like maybe this poor kid really needed some structure and stability and totally gloomed onto that. I try to just give her as much of my love, patience, structure, and stability that I have to give. I've been learning a lot about attachment, trauma, and everything. It's been overwhelming, but every night, no matter how exhausted I am, I get into bed and I thank God for her. I wouldn't trade her for anything in this world. I tell her every night she's my favorite thing. Legally, things are kind of boring. I did the DNA test, unsurprisingly, got the result that she's mine biologically. The emergency order is still in place. Her mom is still in jail. She was offered the option of going to rehab and refused. She'll be in jail for at least a few more months, and after she's out, we will make a parenting plan for visits with help from the social worker. Realistically, I think she'll die before she gets clean. That sounds like a horrible thing to say, but it is how it is. It's been a wild ride. It's not easy, but it's joyful, and it's really changed my life and made me want to be better in a lot of ways. So it seems like OP is really taken to parenthood. Good for you, OP. I really liked what you said about trying to give her as much of your love, patience, structure, and stability that you have to give. I also like how much you've enjoyed this and how much it's really changed your life and made you want to be better. That's amazing. So now we are going to switch subs to Ask Parents for a comment that OP left there. I've only been at it for a few months. I didn't meet my child until she was 10, and our situation is complicated on many levels, but my only regret is that I didn't know she existed sooner. The actual parenting part is amazing. I honestly love all of it, even the hard parts. Some of my favorite mundane things are: she loves to play Barbies and makes up the best, most elaborate stories with them. We've had murderers on the loose with amateur detectives solving the crime. We've had dramatic soap operas, superhero academy, family sagas, you name it. I'm a 40-year-old man who had never picked up a Barbie in his life, and I enjoy it immensely. I've never said no when she asks me to play. Every Tuesday, we go get a slushie and go to the public library. She'd never been read out loud to before she came here. So we pick books to read together, play board games, and she plays on their computers. She loves to pick the music. She loves kid stuff like Nyan Cat and Dumb Ways to Die and stuff, but she also likes stuff I had never heard of like Alan Walker, and it's been really fun to learn her music taste. Lately, we've been listening to Seagulls, Stop It Now, from Bad Lip Reading, and it's literally always funny. She claims to hate David Bowie because his face creeps her out, but she always dances when I play him. The other day she said, "Hey Dad, on YouTube I found this really cool band. I bet you never heard of them. It's The Killers." I pretended I hadn't. She loves to remake vines and make movies. We've done the There's Only One Thing Worse Than a Child, Chris, is that weed? Little Russian Lady, and a few others recently. I edit the movies in iMovie, and we have premiere nights where we dress up and eat popcorn and watch them on the projector. She started making them on some program on the computer that makes animated shorts, and we have premiere nights for those too. It's really hard at times, but I've literally never felt more rewarded than I do by parenting. So it sounds like OP and his daughter are doing great together. You can tell by the way he writes and how much he shares of all of these things that they do together that he truly loves her, which is amazing. So now we're going to go to the final update from Legal Advice, and then we'll move on to the latest post from OP regarding this topic in parenting. I got a call this morning telling me that my daughter's mother had passed away. No other details at this time. Most likely an overdose. I've recognized it as an inevitability, but I also hoped for a miracle for our girl's sake, if not her own. You always cheer for people you loved at one point, and especially so in this case. It's mixed relief and deep sadness. Legally, there are going to be some things down the line that will fall to me to deal with on behalf of our kid, and I'm sure it'll come with questions I'll rely on you for. Our girl doesn't know yet. I let her sleep in this morning and she's still asleep. I don't know how I'm going to tell her, and that's the part that gets me. She's going through some stuff of her own right now, and this was the last thing I wanted for her. Well, that is sad and bad news for OP, particularly for his daughter. Of course, like OP said, he did love this person at one point in his life and he wanted the best for her. In this case, apparently Emma's mom was not interested in that. As we know, she had refused rehab, and like OP said, she would most likely die of an overdose. Hopefully, OP was able to give the news to Emma properly, and he will be there to contain her and help her through it. So now, let's move on to the final part of this whole story, which is the last post OP has given us 1 year after he received Emma. Things are wildly different than they were a year ago, and 2020 alone feels like a decade. But my 11-year-old and I just celebrated 1 year together. I didn't know she existed until this time last year, and she truly is the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't feel comfortable, and neither does she, sharing her face online. But I wanted to tell everyone what a great kid she is and celebrate our milestone year together. Tomorrow we're having a special dinner along with my fiance, who I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for her, and his 3 girls. And a cake and presents to celebrate. In many ways, this has been a hard year, not just with the bug, but it's also been a really happy year. At 40, I met her. I had spent 10 years building a life focused on self-improvement, on betterment, but there was always something missing. I was 10 years clean from heroin, but in some ways I think I was still punishing myself. I would not have told anyone who asked that I was unhappy because I didn't think that I was. But as Christine McAvee so eloquently put it, my life was rearranged with the presence of her, and her existence changed everything. Without her, I never would have met my amazing fiance. Our girls literally friggin' matchmade us. But moreover, I would never have realized that what was missing was this incredibly hilarious, spicy, cat-loving child. We've definitely had our share of wild highs and lows, but honestly, every single day has been so much better for her. She changed my life, and I'm so glad she's in it. I can't make up for not knowing her for the first 10 years of her life, but I can make the rest of it as amazing as this year has been. And that is it. That is all we know about OP's story. So now all I'm gonna say is, OP, it sounds like you are ridiculously happy with having Emma in your life, and I'm happy for you. It's great. So all that there's left to say is hopefully 2021 will be a great year for the both of you and the rest of your lives. Take care, OP. And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.